He better move. That truck better move.
Oh my God.
He don't know. He can't hear me.
Is there nothing y'all can do?
You know far
he can see
better
it.
But he needs to get out of it.
And if destruction's what I need, oh, then I'll receive it, Lord, from Thee. Yes, I'll receive it, Lord, from Thee. Oh, I need You like a hurricane, thunder crashing, wind and rain, to tear my walls down. I'm only Yours now. I need You like a burning flame, a wildfire untamed, to burn these walls down. I'm only Yours now. I'm only Yours now. And it's Your eye in the storm, watching over me. And it's Your eye in the storm, wanting only good for me. And if You are the war, let me be Your casualty, till I'm Yours alone. I am only Yours. I am Yours alone, Lord.
All right. CBSM, open up your Bibles to the book of Lamentations. Book of Lamentations. If you find Jeremiah, and the big book after that is Ezekiel, right in between it is a small 5-chapter book called Lamentations. So check that out. Unbelievable that this is actually the next book in line that we study together as we're moving through the entire Bible and how it's all about Jesus. This book of Lamentations is all about the destruction of a city. Unbelievable that it's next. So much so, one student said to me when I told him this, he said, "Chip, could you just tell us what's coming next? So we know what's coming next in life, because what seems like whatever we study is what happens." And so dude, we're going through the Bible. Oh man, there is some serious sound issues going on. You get it figured out? All right, or we'll deal with it one way or the other. Cool, it's all good. All right, guys, so the book of Lamentations, it is so good to be back. Man, just worshiping Jesus. There is no time that I love more than worshiping Jesus with you. No time that I love more than just singing out to Christ and studying God's Word with you. And this is what this is just a study together. Now, I've heard some of your stories of the tornado and the storms and things like that from Wednesday, April 27. I just kind of wanted to share with you this. Just imagine this is like a tornado going on in the background, I guess, with the sound effects, and I'll explain all this up here in a little bit later. I won't forget that day. I will not forget that day because I decided not to go into the office that morning, Wednesday, April 27. I didn't go into the office that morning because I just wanted to make sure that if the storms did hit, if it was a huge tornado, that I would be there at my house to fix or clean up or block off or shoot looters or whatever I needed to do to protect my house, right? So I ended up staying there, and when it was about 11 o'clock that morning, I remember it started to get really bad, really dark, really crazy outside. So I started watching the news. Honestly, I never get scared during a tornado. I never get scared during a storm. I've just always kind of been that guy. It's never hit anywhere around me, so it has not been all that big of a deal. So I remember that morning, the winds were picking up. I was watching the news, and it said that the tornado would be in my area in like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. And so I remember just working on my Mac, on my lazy boy, watching TV, and then my power goes out, right? And so I'm getting a little nervous, getting a little sweaty at this point in time, wondering what's going on. And then so I remember with the power went out, I was like, okay, well, something's getting hit, something's going on somewhere. So I remember packing up my Mac and putting it back in my book bag and just kind of getting it ready because that's kind of my ministry and life, okay? So I put my Mac in my book bag and I remember going to my kitchen door that I can look outside and I can actually look southwest and I see this huge black storm cloud coming my way. And the winds start picking up big time. So much so that I was watching, I was like, okay, I need to take shelter, I need to take cover. So I walk away from the door. 2 seconds after I walk away from the door, I hear the wind pick up and this huge loud bang outside. So I look out my window again, and where I was looking out, looking over all these houses in my neighborhood, all the big privacy fences in the back, I look out again and all the privacy fences are just gone, right? Just gone. I'm thinking, here we go. And so the fences are gone, and I'm freaking out, peeing my pants, whatever and so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is for real? What do I need to do? So I grab my backpack and with my Mac in it and I throw it in my bathtub, and I've never run so fast and ripped a mattress off the bed and jumped in a bathtub and put it on top of me in all my life. That's all I really knew to do. So I grabbed the mattress, bathtub, hovering over me, and I'm in like a fetal cradle position, holding my Mac laptop. Just holding it. I'm hovering over my Mac, and because I want to protect it at all possible. It's like my baby, right? So I'm holding my Mac. I try to call my parents, tell them I love them. My house alarm is going off. So house alarm is going. I hear things cracking and breaking and all this kind of stuff outside, and so I run over to my house alarm. It says there's a fire in my roof. I'm like, oh great. So I run back to the bathtub, hover over my Mac, put the mattress over me, and wait till it's all said and done. Then when it's all said and done, I go outside into my neighborhood and I just kind of want to check on my neighbors. And so I took one neighbor, her kid was stuck at school. I had to drive her to her kid's school real quick to get her kid because he was stuck there with all the tornadoes. They wouldn't let the kids go. So she had to go there. So I brought them back, got them safe. I had to take another neighbor. He had to go pick up his truck because he had a pregnant wife that he wasn't sure if she was okay. So he left his truck somewhere, ran to check on her. He couldn't get back to his truck. So I drove him to his truck and we got back there. When we got back, the next storms were coming. So I got some friends over. We nailed tarps on my roof real quick, and very, very quick, terrible job of nailing tarps on the roof. And then as I was leaving out, there was a lady that had locked herself out of her house, and the next storm was coming. So this other dude in the neighborhood had just scoped it all out. He's like, man, if you just punch out her garage window right here, just punch out her garage window, we can pull the garage door cord so we can lift the garage up. She can get in her house. Everything will be okay. So I checked it all out. This is not glass. It's fiberglass, so it won't cut you. Great. So I hit the garage door window, pull my hand out. My hand is covered in blood. It was real glass. Okay, so my hand has this gaping wound, and they pull the garage door, open it up, go to get her in her house, and the door was locked even to her house from the garage. So that was a waste of time. So jumped in my car, we drove off. This was probably right around 4 o'clock before the other storms come through, East Limestone Harvest and all that. Drive over to a friend's house, and it was around the Nick Davis Jones Road area. And their windows face north, so around the 4 o'clock, 4:30 time, when that next storm came through, there was winds, there was rain, but wasn't anything severe, wasn't anything serious. And Josh Appleby's mom texted one of us and said, it was about 4:30, 5 o'clock, hey, could you go and check on our boys? They live in Eastland. Our entire neighborhood is pretty much gone, and we haven't gotten in touch with the boys, and we want to make sure they're safe and they're okay and that you get them back. And so we're thinking, nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. So we're like, well, we'll go check it out just to make sure that she feels better. And I will not forget driving up to Eastland and looking probably about a half mile from that neighborhood, and we could not even get any farther. Eastland on East Limestone Road. There were trees down everywhere. There were power lines down. There were ambulances. There were fire trucks. Absolutely everywhere. It was so weird because we were just a mile away from there. Nothing really happened where we were. And we looked and this place was just an absolute wreck. Just completely destroyed. And so we literally just ran through trees, jumped over power lines, didn't know if they were on or off, tried to get in Eastland as quickly as we could. I don't know why I was trying to protect the Appleby boys. You know, they're both of them. They're Goliaths. You know, they need to be checking on me when it comes down to it. But so I ran in to check with them, and they weren't home. I found out they were out helping other people. And then I won't forget, with all the trees down in the neighborhood, I saw come out of the tree line after this huge storm just decimated this little neighborhood. I saw Andrew and Angela England come out. And Andrew's dad lived in the back of that neighborhood. Now, you got to understand, like, my friendship with Andrew. He's one of my best friends in the world. He is one of the guys that he's probably the guy that I've worked the longest with and the most with in ministry, that we agree on the most. We've done the most together here at CBSM. And so I see them come out of the tree line, and they just look, honestly, just happy to be alive. I don't know if you've seen this look before, just happy to be alive. And Andrew walked up and literally gave me a hug, and it was kind of weird, you know, at first. But he's not a huggy kind of a guy, you know. And so he gave. So then I knew, man, I could not see the back of the neighborhood. And the next storm was coming. He took me to the back of the neighborhood to his dad's house, and it was just basically gone. So they packed up their bags. We got Andrew and Angela and their family out. And we had to jump through all the trees and the power lines again to get them out of the neighborhood, get them to the next house. And with the next storm coming, and finally the next storm came through, and I'm not even sure of all the damage at that point. That's just my personal experience. Every one of you have stories through these storms. Or you've heard stories from your friends through these storms. I mean, by any means, just joking around about my story and what a pansy I am, you know. A lot of people went through an EF5 tornado. I went through, I think, like the straight line winds of an F1 tornado. That's like a tornado for kindergartners, you know? That's the pansy tornado. That's the one when the F1 comes through, the kindergartners go jump on the swings because it's more fun, right? It's not nearly a big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but it's not nearly as big of a deal as an EF5 tornado. Unbelievable what has happened in our lives over the past 2 weeks. Unbelievable. And it's just crazy that we honestly get to study this book together, because it is all about, like I said, the destruction of a city. Now, this book is all about when God's people hit rock bottom. When something huge happens in their life where they literally feel unprotected. Where they literally feel that they cannot escape from the destruction. Where they literally feel like just the God's wrath or the wrath of creation is on top of them. I'm not sure what your story is, but I know through this storm, many people have hit rock bottom. Many people have. You have friends who have hit rock bottom and who have lost everything in the storm. How many of y'all are someone, or you know someone, that their house was hit hard and they pretty much lost everything? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Pretty much lost everything. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that this happened in our area. What we have to look at tonight is how to react, how to respond to such a tragedy, to such a disaster, in a way that brings glory, that brings praise to God. God's glory and God's worth and God's honor does not stop when disaster happens. In fact, when disaster hits, when you go through a tragedy, then you really get to find out, you get to discover, it is revealed where your heart really and truly is with God. God's people go through just this terrible disaster. Now, the Bible is a beautiful story. If you don't like action action, if you don't like war, if you don't like violence, if you don't like epic drama and story and romance and characters and plots and people and parties and unbelievable truth and history, if